Hello again, everyone. Good evening. We'll get started, guys. Okay, welcome again to day one. Today we'll talk about installation. We'll talk about what Python is, what PyCharm, and then for next 20 minutes or so, we'll focus on data types in Python and different operations that we can perform with Python. Okay, it's going to be hands-on. We just have 2 slides today. That's all. I'm going to move quickly to the installation part. Okay. So see, this is introduction class. So I don't have to talk about what Python is, why Python is so useful, right? Everybody knows. And the reason why you are here is that you know the importance of Python, isn't it? You know what Python is all about, right? What we need to do is we need to learn from where to install Python or to use Python, right? You need to uh, practice Python. Python is like mathematics. Okay, so when I talk about it, probably 99% of things you can easily understand, but when you start practicing, that's when you will realize the importance of programming, right? So uh, it has to be practiced. Okay, and that's the reason why I'll be sending you notes, maybe sometime today or maybe sometime by today. Okay, next 3-4 hours I'll send you the notes. You practice. Okay, you install the software, you practice it. So before you come to the next session, I want you to practice. And this is what I want. I want commitment from just 1 hour, 30 minutes in the session and 30 minutes off the session. Practice what I send you. During the session, you don't have to practice. Okay. I want you to focus on the screen, try to understand as much as possible. In the interest of time, I'll not be taking questions. Okay. After the session, we'll take up the questions and the WhatsApp group which you are a part of. Okay. After session, I'm going to make enable for message sending by all. Okay. So maybe around after 7 till 8 or 8:39 for next 1 or 2 hours, I'll enable so that you all can share your questions during that 2 hours window. Okay. After that, again, I'll make it such that only admins can send messages. Okay. So without any further delay, let's quickly move on. Okay, so here is the browser, and I'm going to tell you from where do we need to install Python. Okay, so you go to python.org. Okay, so what you see here, this is the official web page of Python. Okay, and when you click on this link here, uh, uh, download, you can go and download. Okay, the Windows version. Okay, so right now the Python which is in use is Python 3.9.7. You can go and download. You can click here, or if you're interested to install older version, you can go to Windows or Mac OS, or click on all releases. It'll take you to a page where you can download the latest version, or if you want older version, you can click on Windows here. If you are using Mac or Linux machine, you can go to the respective pages here and you can download. For example, if you click on Mac, this will take you to the Mac page. Okay, and all the versions you see here, it starts with Python 3.7, 3.9, 3.6. Okay, these are the versions, these are the installer. Okay, install them and make sure that your Python is ready to work. The PDF which I'll be sending you will have the detailed steps for installation. Okay, so follow the PDF and install it. So when you install the Python on your machine, and when you go to command prompt, I'm using Windows machine, so this is how you go to command prompt. And see, I have installed Python 3.7, 3.9, and 3.8. I use 3.8. Okay, so click on Python 3.8. You will get this window. Um, okay, this is very similar to a command prompt, isn't it? And it has 3 angular bracket. Okay, this means that we are ready to program here. Okay, so this triple angular bracket is also called as Python prompt, and this is where we do our program. Okay, so I go here, and the first command that we are going to learn today is called print. So print is a, let me make it a little bigger. So I'm going to say properties, font. Let me make it 24. Okay, better, right? So the first command that we're going to learn is called print. Print is used to print the content on the screen. Okay, it's an inbuilt function. We just have to call print, and we pass a value in print within simple square bracket. Okay, so any function, and I think this is true with C++, Java, .NET as well. Any function that you pass, you need to write the function name and the bracket, curly bracket, simple bracket. Okay, not flower bracket or square bracket, simple bracket. And inside this, you give what you want to print. Okay, so if I say 5 here and I hit enter, it will display 5 on the screen. So remember, Python is a interpreter based language. Okay, so it executes every line. We execute line by line, unlike C++, Java, where you write 10 lines of code, 100 lines of code, 500 lines of code. Python will actually execute each line. Okay, so when you install Python prompt, this is how you would start working here. Okay, so I'm saying print 5, it printed 5 on the screen. I'll say print 5 into 5 plus 4, right? First multiplication will be done and then 4. So the print has evaluated what we gave here. 5 into 5 plus 4. It evaluated and gave us the output on the screen. Okay, so when you pass a content within print, print is going to evaluate and display on the screen. Okay, but let's say you don't want to evaluate, you want Python to display 5 into 5 plus 5 as it is, right? So yes, there is an option. The option says is that we have to pass the content, okay, as a string. If you pass as a string, that's when Python is not going to evaluate but print it as it is. So how do you pass it as a string? You can pass it as a string using quotation. Okay, Python doesn't restrict what kind of quotation you use. You can use single, double, triple, all are accepted. I'm using single quotation here. So I say 5 into 5 plus 5. Okay, so print as I said, as a function, it should have the bracket. Within the bracket, I'm giving this quotation, and inside the quotation I'm giving the text. So when I give this content within the quotation, it becomes text, right? And I go and hit enter. So see, the content is displayed as it is. Okay, it's not evaluating. Okay, so this is how you can use Python prompt. Okay, and see, we want to do a lot more programs. So sometimes using this command prompt doesn't help us. Okay, so we need to install what is called as IDEs, Integrated Development Environment. It actually helps us to write multi-line of code and then run it. Okay, so if you're learning, this is the best one, right? You can see the output immediately. You don't have to, wait for the output to come. So you write a line of code, you hit. So if you are making mistakes, you can see the mistake. Let's say if I do print and I start with single quotation and I say 5 into 5, that's 25, and I end with double quotation. Okay, it will give me error. Okay, syntax error. You can use either single or double quote, but whatever you start with, same thing you have to end with. I started with single quotation, I have to end with single quotation only, right? So I go here and I say, okay, I'm going to say single quotation here, and that's how you get 5 into 5, that's 25 straight on the screen. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to move. Kapil, can you please stop doing that, guys? Okay, from next time onwards, then I will not, I will not allow to even have the permission to speak and chat. Please stop doing that, guys. Okay. Okay. So coming back here. So okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to move to IDE. So PyCharm is the most popular IDE. Okay, and it is by a company called JetBrains. You can go to jetbrains.com. Okay, and okay, so when you go to JetBrains here, okay, it has multiple tools. Okay, And what we're going to do is we're going to go to Python and Django here. Okay, and download this PyCharm. We need PyCharm for our Python. Okay, so you can go to PyCharm. It has two options here. Okay, you have Python IDE. Okay, you can download this PyCharm and you can start doing your um, uh, uh, program, right? Okay. So if the document which I'm going to share will have the steps to download PyCharm as well. So you'll be able to download PyCharm and you can start using it. Okay, so when you download PyCharm and when you start your application, you get a screen, something like this, what you see on the screen. Okay, you get a screen like this. And this is where we will be doing our program. Okay, so the first topic that we wanted to do was data types. What are different data types in Python? The reason we use data type is to tell to the Python or to any programming language that what kind of value we are trying to pass, right? What kind of value we are trying to pass to the program, right? So I can pass like hello, right, which is a text, or I can pass a number 5. Okay, and every data type has its own operation. For example, if you talk about numbers, you can add the numbers, you can subtract the number, you can divide the number, isn't it? You can you can do all the mathematical operations. Okay, so when we say Python, okay, so for example, okay, I'm going to declare a variable called a, and I'm going to say a equal to 5. The moment I say a equal to 5, Python knows that, okay, if I write a text on the left, it is a variable name, as simple as that. When you write a text here on the left of equal to, it becomes a variable. Okay, and when I assign 5, a equal to 5, it means a is the variable which has got the value 5. Okay, here, okay, unlike some of the other languages like C++, Java, you don't have to define the data type. Based on the value itself, Python knows that it is a integer or float or string type. Okay, so for example, I want to print this. Okay, so if I say print variable a, okay, now since a is a variable, I don't have to give this in the quotation. Okay, I go to program 1, right click and say run program 1, and you will get output at the bottom. Okay, 5. Okay, now here, since I want to display the value of a, I did not give quotation, right? But if I want to print a as a text, okay, I'll say single quote here, right? Single quote is going to give us the value, okay, that is put inside the quotation. Okay, it's not going to evaluate, right? So when I run it again, okay, you see you get a. So people who are new to programming, they find it very difficult when to give quotation, when not to give. Quotation is only when you want to print the text inside as it is on the screen. Okay, so if I want to print, things like hello, how are you today? Okay, and when I run it, you get the content as it is. But I want to display or display a value of something. Okay, I want to display an expression which needs to be evaluated. Okay, so I'll say 5 into 5 plus 3, it will evaluate and give it to me. Okay, so variable is a placeholder, it's a name that we give to a value. Okay, so if I give here, let's say num1. Okay, when you say num1, so num1 has become a variable called num. Okay, and this num stores the value 5 here. Okay, so when I say num1 equal to 5, and I can refer multi places, okay, at multiple places I can say num1 and I can start executing it. Okay, so I'll get 5 here. I can say print num1 plus 5. Okay, so since num1 has value 5 and I say num1 plus 5, it's going to perform addition and give me 10, right? So since I've defined num1 as a variable which has a value integer, okay, now integer means in programming languages, okay, I'm going to write the meaning here, integer. In short, in Python, it is referred as int, okay, and it means it can store any value, okay, any value, okay, or any number, in fact, without the decimal part. Okay, so if I say 5, 5 is an integer, but if I say 5.0, it becomes float. Okay, so second type of number, okay, number data type is float. Okay, and this is where you can assign decimal values. Okay, so for example, okay, there is a function by Python which gives us the data type. Okay, so if I say print and type, okay, the type is another function just like print. It's also a function which does something. What it does is it gives us the data type of the variable. So if I pass here, now here I have num1, right? If I pass num1 here, okay, so type of num1 is going to return us the type of the data, what kind of data it has. Okay, and then this one is inside print, so it is going to display on the screen. So in Python, what we are seeing now is you can pass multiple functions, one function inside another function, and you can do it any level. You can have a function inside a function. Inside this, I can have another function. Okay, so when you have such situation where you have multiple functions, the one which is innermost, right, that will be executed first. Then the second inner, then third inner, and finally the outermost will be executed. So when I say print type of num1, type of num1 is evaluated first. Okay, so type of num1 will tell us int, and when I say print, it is going to print int. Not only int, it also prints something along with int which is called as class int. So here one thing I have to remember now here is in Python everything is treated as class and objects. Java is of course object-oriented programming language, but in Java those basic data types, right, print, sorry, integer, float, okay, character, those are not called as classes. But in Python, even those are classified as classes. It is a class int. Okay, and of course, when you have classes, it will have its own members, and we'll talk about it later. Okay, on the last day, we'll talk about class, what class is. So today, just ignore the class part. We'll come back, and on the fifth day, we'll talk about what classes are and how to use, and what is the significance of using classes. Okay, so what I've done here, I've said print type of num1, so it gave me the data type of num1, and we know that data type of num1 is integer. Okay, so in Python we don't have to declare the data type. We can assign the value, and based on the value that you assign, it will know what kind of data type it has to use. Okay, so now here I can say num1, I am reusing the value and I'm saying 5.0. When I say num equal to 5, it is integer. When I say num1 equal to 5.0, it becomes, okay, let's see, it becomes float. Okay, because we have added decimal part. So decimal part is what we call it as float. Okay, so float is the number, okay, with decimal part. Integer is the number without decimal part. Both plus minus are accepted. Positive and negative numbers are accepted in both float and integer. Okay, so let's look at some of the operations that you can perform in integer. So I say num1 as 5, and let's say I define another variable called num2 equal to 10. Okay, so I can do sum, so num1 plus num2. Okay, I can do subtraction, multiplication, division. I need to go and change division slash. Okay, so this slash will give us division, multiplication, so it will multiply the numbers. I say minus. Okay, now let me run and let's see the output. Okay, so when I say num1 plus num2, it added num1 and num2 together and we got 15. When I say num1 minus num2, right, it is going to subtract num2 from num1, right? So we have 5 minus 10, it will be minus 5, isn't it? 5 minus 10. Multiplication is going to multiply the two numbers together. So num1 is 5, 5 into 10 is 50. This is what we get. Okay, so all these three, since we are providing integer values, all these three operations, okay, are giving us integer value. But multiplication will always give us decimal float. Okay, so 5 by 10 is 0.5, isn't it? Even if I do num2 by num1, 10 by 5. Okay, even if I do num2 by num1, 10 by 5, it should be 2, isn't it? But slash or division will always give us float type. So in this case, it gave us 2.0. Okay, so these are the basic mathematical operations. We call them as arithmetic operations. There are a few more. Okay, so there is one more called as double slash. Okay, double slash will give us only the integer part. So when I say 10 by 5, you will get 2. Okay, 2 is the integer. It is only give us the integer part. Okay, if I make it num1 by num2, okay, and when I run it, you see 0, because answer is 0.5. Okay, it's not going to floor, it's not going to do the floor operation or ceiling operation. It will perform the division and pick up only the integer part. Okay, so 5 by 10 is 0.5. It picked up only the integer part, which is 0. Okay, you can perform remainder. Okay, so we have operation like num1, okay, modulo num2. So if you divide 5 by 10, okay, so it will be 10 times 0 times 10 into 0, 0, and 5 will be the remainder, isn't it? So you get 5. Okay, if I do, let's replace this with number, I'll do 33. Okay, and I divide it by 10. So 10 will go 3 times 30, so 3 is the remainder, right? So 3 will be displayed here. Okay, now we have something called as double star as well. Okay, so single star, when you give, it is multiplication, and when you give Anik, please don't do that. Okay, and when you are going to give double star, okay, so from next time, okay, next time I'll change the setting so that you guys don't have control. I wanted to give control so that you guys can send me messages, but you guys are probably don't want to do that. So from tomorrow onwards, I'll block so that nobody could be able to control any controller. Okay, so when I say 3 star star 2, okay, so this star star is like power. It means 3 to the power 2. Okay, so answer would be 3 square, which is 9. Okay, so these are some of the operations you can perform on arithmetic on numbers. Okay, we also have third type of variable or data type. We call them as string. Okay, represented at str. It gives us, okay, character. Okay, whether it can be one character or multiple characters as well. Okay, so for example, if I say text1 equal to good evening, okay, or I'll just say good. Okay, and then I say text2 equal to evening. Okay, and now I want to perform print of text1 and text2. So text1 plus text2. Okay, and when I run it, it is going to combine good and evening together. Okay, so when you combine good and evening together, it combined them, and there's no space in between, isn't it? So what we could do is we could add a space. So now we are adding 3 text. One is text1, which has the value good. It's a variable which has the value good. Then I'm adding a blank text using quotation. This is what we discussed, right? You can give either double or single, but whatever you begin with, same thing you have to end with. Plus text2, right? So text1 space text2 together will give us good evening. Okay, if you want to know the type of the variable, so you can use the same function, which is type of text1, and when I run it, you would get class str. Okay, so str is what we call as string in Python, and it will have its own set of operations, right? So we just did addition of two text. You can do multiplication, okay, text 1 into 4. So we are saying that repeat text 4 times. Okay, it's going to repeat good 4 times. Okay, so you can perform you know multiplication on text. Okay, and we have a whole lot of operations that you can perform on string. You can iterate through the string. You can pick up vowels and consonants, right? If you want to do that, you can break a sentence into words. You can break a complete sentence into words. You can combine different words and make a sentence. Okay, you can convert uppercase to lowercase, lowercase to uppercase. All those functions are available, okay, which you can perform on string, but you can't perform those operations on integer or float, right? One thing is that strings are called as immutable. Okay, they are immutable. That means you can't edit a string. You can override. I can say text1 equal to good, I can say text1 equal to great. Okay, but I cannot say text1 equal to text2 plus something, okay, or text1 equal to text1 plus something. So immutable means you cannot edit the existing, okay, value, but you can overwrite. Overwrite is like creating a new set of variable, which you can do it without any problem. Okay, the fourth type, okay, of data type, the basic data type we're talking about, is called bool, short form for boolean. It takes just two values, which is true, T capital RU is small, and F capital ALSE, false. Okay, it can take only true and false. So if I say var1, variable 1 equal to true, okay, and var2 equal to false. Okay, see, I have not, though even though these are text, I have not written them in quotation. If I put them in quotation, it would become string. Okay, so if I say print type of var1, okay, when I run it, so you see it says string. But if I remove the quotation and when I run it now, okay, it is boolean. Okay, so boolean has its own operations, right? We perform like var1, we have and. You can perform and on variable, right? You can perform or, right? So var1 or var2, right? So these are the operations you can perform on boolean file. Okay, and or when I run it, you get true and false, right? Most of you would have done it in your graduation level. Okay, so we do write truth table, right? So when you talk about and, both the values has to be true to get true. When you talk about and, both the values has to be true to get true, otherwise it will be false. Here in or, even one value is true, you get true. Okay, and these are called logical operations. Okay, arithmetic operations, string operations, and these are called logical operations. These are used on logic. Okay, so for example, if I say Rohit and Virat will open the batting, okay, I'm saying Rohit and Virat. Okay, this is my prediction for, let's say, first match of World Cup, and actually Rohit and let's say Shubham opens. Okay, so my prediction is wrong, even though I got one right, because I'm saying and means both the condition has to be true for a prediction to be true. If this is actual, then my prediction is wrong. Okay, all the condition has to be true in and. Now same thing if I say or, if I say or Rohit or Virat will open, and actually Rohit and Shubham open, then my prediction is right. Okay, because I got one partially right. When I say or, I'm saying either Virat or Virat Kohli, Virat or Rohit. I'm not talking about both of them, right? So the same thing is happening here. True. Okay, first part is true, Rohit, and second part is wrong. But since I said or, I am correct. But here, since I said and, I'm wrong. Okay, so Boolean operations have, like, they are used in logical operations, and we do this when we talk about if conditions. When try to build a condition. The last data type, the fifth and the last basic, okay, or these are the basic data type, okay, is called complex. So we don't use complex much, at least in our kind of work, machine learning and data analysis kind of work. Complex is the mathematical I, which is square root of -1. Okay, similar to what we have I in math. Okay, so if I say print, okay, and in Python it is represented as J. Okay, not I, as J. So if I say 5J, it means I'm saying 5 into square root of -1, right? So if I say 5J into 6J, okay, so what will you get? Answer is, okay, -30. So 5J into 6J. So 5 into 5, so 5 into 6 is 30. J into J is -1, right? So 30 minus 30 into -1, -30. So you get integer part as -30, and there is no J part, right? So you get 0J, right? So this is of type integer, complex. So if I say, say var1 equal to 4 plus 5J, okay, and if I say print type of var1, when I run it, you get complex. Okay, it's complex type. So another operation you can do is a plus b into a minus b, right? So let's say var1 is a plus b, and I put var2 as a minus b. Okay, and if I perform print, this is var2. So if I say print var1 into var2, a plus b into a minus b, so a square minus b square, right? So when you say a square minus b square, what do you get? A square is 16, okay, minus of 25 square, 25, right? So minus of plus will be minus of minus, isn't it? So minus of minus will be plus. So you get 16 plus 25, which is 41, and of course